In the heart of the city, where towering skyscrapers gleamed with the reflections of wealth, lived a billionaire named Charles Hawthorne. He was known for his sharp business acumen and lavish lifestyle. Charles owned several luxury cars, a private jet, and a stunning penthouse that overlooked the bustling streets below. Every day, he indulged in the finest things life had to offer: gourmet meals crafted by top chefs, exclusive parties filled with glittering guests, and extravagant shopping sprees. Despite his immense fortune, Charles often felt a void within him. He surrounded himself with luxury, but rarely connected with the world outside his opulent bubble. His days were filled with meetings and deals, leaving little room for reflection or empathy. The people in the city admired him for his success, yet they saw him as distant and unapproachable. As he prepared to enjoy yet another exquisite dinner at a renowned restaurant that evening, he remained blissfully unaware of how one unexpected encounter would change everything. Little did he know that a simple shout from a homeless boy would soon shatter his comfortable reality and force him to confront the stark truths of life beyond wealth. The city buzzed with energy as pedestrians hurried along the sidewalks, their footsteps echoing against the pavement. Bright lights from shop windows illuminated the evening sky, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that danced in the air. Buses and taxis weaved through traffic, honking and vying for space amidst the chaos. In the midst of this lively scene stood an upscale restaurant, its elegant facade contrasting sharply with the busy streets outside. Inside, Charles Hawthorne sat at a lavish table, elegantly set with gleaming silverware and flickering candles that cast a warm glow around him. He savored each bite of his gourmet meal, a delicate dish crafted by a renowned chef, relishing the rich flavors that delighted his palate. Waiters glided silently around, attending to the well-dressed patrons who filled the room with laughter and chatter. As he glanced out the window, Charles noticed the world bustling by, people rushing home, families enjoying their time together, and street vendors calling out to potential customers. Yet, within this vibrant atmosphere, he remained isolated in his thoughts, lost in a bubble of luxury that seemed to separate him from the lives of others outside. Little did he know that his reality was about to shift dramatically. As the evening wore on, the bustling noise of the street blended seamlessly with the clinking of glasses and laughter from inside the restaurant. Just outside the entrance, a young boy appeared, his small frame hunched against the chilly air. He looked no older than 10, with tattered clothes hanging loosely from his frail body. Dirt smudged his cheeks and hands, a testament to days spent outside without shelter. His hair was unkempt, and his shoes were worn down to barely recognizable remnants. Yet it was his eyes that truly captured attention. Deep and piercing, they held an intensity that seemed to pierce through the noise of the city. As he stood there on the sidewalk, people brushed past him, their eyes avoiding his gaze as if he were merely an obstacle in their busy lives. In that moment, time seemed to slow down for Charles as he noticed the boy lingering near the restaurant's entrance. The contrast between the child's vulnerability and the opulence inside struck a chord within him. Charles felt a stirring in his chest, an unfamiliar tug that pulled at the heartstrings he had long ignored. What was this boy doing here? And why did he look so lost? Just as Charles continued to ponder the boy's presence, a sudden, sharp voice pierced through the ambient noise of the restaurant. "Don't eat that," the boy shouted, his words echoing off the walls and silencing the laughter and clinking glasses around him. Startled diners turned their heads in shock, eyes wide with disbelief at the unexpected interruption. Charles felt his heart race as he focused on the boy standing outside, his small frame radiating a mix of desperation and urgency. The patrons at nearby tables exchanged confused glances, and whispers began to ripple through the room. The waitstaff paused in their tracks, unsure of how to react to this unforeseen outburst. The boy's gaze was fixed on Charles, as if he were trying to communicate something deeper. An anxious energy filled the air, thickening with tension as everyone awaited an explanation for such a bold proclamation. Charles's fork hung suspended in midair, his appetite replaced by a sense of curiosity and concern. What could possibly prompt such a desperate plea from a child? The question lingered heavily in the air, setting the stage for a moment that would change everything. As the boy's shout echoed through the restaurant, time seemed to freeze for Charles Hawthorne. His fork hovered above his plate, gourmet food forgotten as confusion and intrigue washed over him. He peered out the window, eyes locked on the boy, whose desperate expression was etched into his memory. The moment felt surreal amidst the usual clamor of clinking cutlery and laughter. Diners who had moments ago been engaged in lively conversation now sat in stunned silence, all eyes drawn to the strange scene unfolding outside. Waiters exchanged glances, unsure whether to intervene or simply watch this unexpected drama unfold. Charles's heart raced, his thoughts swirling as he considered the gravity of the boy's words. What did he mean? Why did he care about a meal meant for someone else? In that instant, Charles felt a connection forming, a bridge between his world of wealth and the boy's harsh reality. The laughter that filled the restaurant moments before faded into a mere whisper, leaving only the tension of unanswered questions hanging in the air. Charles realized this was not just a cry for help. It was a wake-up call that demanded his attention. The tension in the restaurant hung thick as Charles leaned closer, trying to hear what the boy had to say. With a mix of courage and desperation, the boy took a deep breath and explained, "I shouted because people waste so much food while others don't have anything to eat." His voice trembled but remained strong, resonating with urgency. He continued, his words tumbling out like a flood. "Every day, I see people throwing away meals that could feed someone else. It's not fair. Some of us are starving while you enjoy fancy dinners." The boy gestured toward the rich dishes being served inside, his wide eyes filled with passion. "You have so much, and yet you don't see us, those who go hungry just a few steps away." Charles felt a wave of emotions wash over him. The boy's raw honesty struck a chord deep within him. He could no longer ignore the reality the child painted with his words. Suddenly, the lavish food on his plate felt heavy and burdensome, a stark reminder of the very inequality the boy was bravely highlighting. This moment was more than just a plea. It was a wake-up call to acknowledge the suffering around him. As the boy's words lingered in the air, Charles was engulfed in a whirlwind of emotions. He sat frozen, his lavish meal now seeming grotesque compared to the boy's desperate plea. In that moment of reflection, he began to scrutinize his life. The mansion filled with endless comforts, the extravagant parties with guests laughing over gourmet feasts, and his overflowing bank account. Yet, all of it felt empty as he thought about the child standing just outside. A wave of guilt washed over him. How many times had he turned a blind eye to those in need? The boy's reality was a stark contrast to his own sheltered existence. Charles thought of the countless times he rushed past those less fortunate, wrapped up in his own success and ambitions. He realized that he had been living in a bubble of privilege that separated him from the struggles facing so many. Suddenly, the one-sided conversations at his lavish dinners seemed trivial. With every bite he took, he could almost taste the bitterness of wastefulness. The stark truth settled within him. Wealth brought security, but also responsibility. This moment was not just about awareness. It was about taking action to bridge the gap between two very different worlds. In the flickering candlelight of the restaurant, Charles felt a sense of determination rise within him. The boy's words replayed in his mind, igniting a fire that pushed aside the weight of guilt. He realized that he could no longer stand by and simply enjoy his wealth while others suffered. It was time for action. As soon as he returned to his luxurious penthouse that night, Charles began to research local shelters and food programs directly impacting the homeless community. He felt a stirring commitment to make a difference, and by morning, he made a surprising decision that would alter the course of his life. Charles announced a significant donation to support local shelters and food programs, pledging not just money, but also his time and resources. His aim was to provide meals and essentials to those in need throughout the city. This act of generosity would not only help alleviate hunger, but also create awareness among those who shared his privileged status. Feeling lighter than he had in years, Charles recognized that this decision was not merely about giving, but about connecting with humanity. Through this commitment, he hoped to inspire other wealthy individuals to do the same, creating a ripple effect of compassion in his community. The impact of the boy's brave shout rippled through the community, reaching far beyond just Charles Hawthorne. In the days that followed, news of the incident spread, sparking conversations about homelessness and social responsibility among residents and business owners alike. People began to share stories of their own encounters with homelessness, expressing a newfound awareness of the struggles faced by those without a safe place to sleep or enough food to eat. Local news outlets picked up the story, highlighting Charles's generous donation and his commitment to supporting shelters and food programs. This drew attention from other wealthy individuals, many of whom began to reconsider their role in addressing societal issues. Fundraisers and community events were organized, aimed at collecting donations and building awareness about homelessness. The boy, once a solitary figure on the street corner, became a symbol of change. He inspired not only Charles, but many others to confront their privilege and take action. Conversations that once seemed uncomfortable became more frequent, igniting a sense of responsibility within the community. Through one powerful shout, the boy transformed apathy into empathy, challenging everyone to see the faces behind the statistics and prompting a collective effort to make a difference. In the end, the story of the homeless boy and Charles Hawthorne serves as a powerful reminder of how one small voice can ignite change. The boy's simple yet profound shout not only transformed Charles's perspective, but also inspired an entire community to reflect on their own roles in addressing homelessness. This moment of courage demonstrated that even the smallest actions can have a significant impact on the world around us. As conversations sparked and donations poured in, hope began to flourish in a city that had once turned a blind eye to suffering. The awakening of compassion among residents showed that empathy could bridge the gap between privilege and poverty. With each act of kindness, from meals provided to outreach efforts, the community began to heal and unite for a common cause. This story encourages us all to listen, to hear the voices that often go unheard, and to recognize our shared humanity. It challenges us to take action, no matter how small, because together we can create a ripple effect of change. In a world filled with challenges, let this be a beacon of hope, reminding us that we each have the power to make a difference for those in need.